Hello everybody, this is a race from the 2025 OVKA karting season out at beautiful G&J Kartway in Camden, Ohio. This is a Sunday race, early August, very nice out, very pretty. A little bit hot, but not too bad. I'm rolling out in P3 for the final. This is the final for the LO206 Legends class. At this point in the season, I am in either first or second place in the points. So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily in total, I guess, defensive mode, but I'm at the point where I'm trying to not be too risky because I just want to finish really close to the front if I can win it. But I don't want to take any big, losses in the points, like, running, finish 10th or 12th or something like that. Because I've already missed one race at this point in time, and that would be one of my drops. You get 2 drops in a season. There's 12 races. 10 of those races are going to go towards your point total, and I already have a big fat 0 for missing a race. So I'm down to where I need to perform well in this is the 10th race, so there's the 10th, 11th, and 12th. 3 races left in the season. So we're going to go back around one more time. Also, this is the first race I think my younger brother ran in. I already posted the pre-final for his race. He did pretty decent for a first-timer out there. Didn't get lapped, didn't wreck, and was only like maybe a second and a half off the pace a little bit. He was close to being in the mix, which is pretty good for your first race out in an LO206 go-kart. So again, we're coming back around. I got smoked in the pre-final on the start. I think I started in the front row, and I ended up coming out of the first lap in 4th place, and I think I gained 1 position back in the pre-final. So I'm trying to really stick with the 16 so that I don't get, smoked. I've got the 22, I believe, is immediately to my right, and he's been pretty fast. It might be the 222. I don't know how many 2s are on there. But the 318 is pretty fast this weekend. He realized he had some cracks in his frame that he didn't realize them initially, and it was affecting his lap times previously, so he had this corrected, I believe, at this point in the season. And his kart was somewhat back on point where he could, get back towards the front, because he was a little bit mired in the middle there for some of our races. So it's a little bit of a hectic race or start, and I end up coming out in 4th again. So the outside, I prefer the outside on the starts because you can just get a really solid run around on the outside, and it sets you up for the inside for turn 3. Now this is a 12-lap race. I do not remember what the pre-final was. It was probably an 8-lapper. But we're single file right now. Again, just finishing up the first lap. I'm going to swing around where I can see the fellas in front of me. The 16 came back for this race, and he's been driving off the front. He was about 3/10 to a half second faster than me the whole race. So I get a good run on the 222. And we're going to have a little incident coming up here where it doesn't go well. Now, I thought I could maybe get under him right here. He kind of kept me pinched down a little bit, which I expect, and I don't consider that to be anything rough or anything like that. But I try to get back in on him right here, and we both kind of go wide, and I don't know if he got on the brakes harder than I thought he was going to go on the brakes, but we bumped, and I think because we were both a little outside of the groove, he just ended up not having the room to stay on the track. I almost went off the track as well, and I really actually thought that I got bumped from the back right there. But you could see the video, and I did not get bumped. But I think the video also shows that we, I don't know if I can't tell if he had a 1 or a 2 on the back there, but I'll call him the 22. The 22 in front of me in my Racing for Vets buddy, I felt like he might have got on the brakes a little more than I expected, because I did not expect to bump him like that, and I was trying actually not to, but my kart just seemed like it was going straight once I made contact with him, and it was hard to get off of him. So I'm a little bit worried right now about whether, am I going to get some kind of a penalty or something? I didn't know. And I think I might have got black flagged, but I never saw it. Maybe they were holding it down right there. I didn't see it. So I didn't know that I got black flag, but I'm pretty sure that they waved the black flag at some point in the race, and that would have been directed to me. Again, I did not see it, and I didn't know it. So I didn't really realize that, and we're going to find out at the end, that I'm going to get penalized. But this is also a good testament to actually having the a good camera. My camera helped me out in this big time, because the 222, he went way off and hit the bags, and he ends up being probably around 10th to 12th place. We might have had about 15 people or 16 people in this race. Again, the Legends class is one of the bigger classes at G&J Kartway. There's always a good turnout. It's a 50 and over class. It is a lot of fun. It's the most fun that I have go-karting, whether it's going to the Grands or anywhere. Racing at G&J Kartway, for me, is easily the most fun that I have racing go-karts. So the 84 is closing up on me. He's been doing, we're in December right now, and this is in August, but he had been doing very good in his, he'd been showing good success in his number 84 cart, Burrell Art cart that he has right there. This was his first season on that. I think he might have been driving a Comet last year, a Comet Eagle, and he switched back over to this Burrell for the 2025 season. And I've got an older Ricciardo cart, which is the same chassis basically. Mine's a 2017, so it is about 8 years older. But in talking with him, because we have the similar chassis, he was really liking the way that it handled, and it was showing on the track. So the 84 is chasing me down. I know he's back there, and I like watching the back, the back view, because it does give me a little intel on what I think I might need to do to improve my lap times next year. I am planning to race the same chassis that I raced in these videos right here. I have it off, making sure it's straight, making sure there's no cracks right now, all that good stuff, so that it's in tip-top shape when the beginning of the season starts in April, or the very end of March, I believe, this year. But I'm giving it hell out there. I'm trying to catch. I'm in third place right now after the contact with the 222, and we jumped ahead about 2 laps right here because it's just me following behind the 318. But I am starting to close up on the 318. The 84 is still relatively close behind me, but I'm now focused on the 318. I'm not really paying a lot of attention to how close the 84 is to me, but I do know he's back there. Now this is just going to be me trying to chase the 318 down over the next couple laps. But I will say, I'm going to let the camera run at the end of this. Usually I'd trim out all of the, well, I'll talk about this right now. So I have a good run on here. This is the second to the last lap. Make a teeny bit of contact there. I had no idea I had all that room. I stayed wide because I thought the 318 was still kind of next to me, and I didn't want to cut him off because I thought my move into turn 3 was a little bit aggressive, so I didn't want to just, totally just, make it look like I ran him over. So I was trying to give ample room for him on the inside, although I didn't realize I could have got back over in front. It wouldn't even have been close to being any contact. It's one of those things. Sometimes you leave a giant hole, and then sometimes you run over people. You can't tell what's happening behind you pretty much most of the time while you're go-kart racing. So anyways, I'm going to let this, I keep in all my footage going through the scale line and loading up my cart because it just kind of, it shows what happens when you have an issue during the race. The race director is going to come up and tell me that I need to finish behind the 222. And I give a little bit of a protest at the time. I don't get all pissed because I know that I have a camera. But I really, at that point in time, I thought that I got bumped going into that turn right before I made contact with the 22 or the 222, whatever number he had on there. In my head, I really thought that had happened. So I was a little shocked that I was going to get the penalty. But, I protested a little bit, but then I didn't, I wasn't going to argue about it in the scale lane. I knew I could go back and look at my camera. And so what I did do is, I talked briefly with the race director. I don't argue. He doesn't get mad at me or anything like that. I just tell him I'm going to, I'll look at it and I'll get back with him. And so what ended up happening was I did go look at my footage, and it's what you saw basically right there when I think it was a little bit about halfway through lap 2, and gave him my viewpoint. I mean, I went and I also looked through the rules. It helps to know what the rules are. The rules do say that there is inadvertent contact. It should be expected as part of karting, But, I mean, I knew that I did nothing intentional. I did not want to hit the cart in front of me because I almost crashed too, and I didn't want to crash. I didn't want to crash in. And I knew it was earlier in the race, and I'd have a lot of opportunity to try to catch it. So I'm going to shut up so you can hear the race director come up to me here in a second.
I got it on. I'll look at it camera. I can get pushed from the back as well, so I tried to get off of it. Okay.
I was a little disappointed looking right there, but again.
All right. I'll look at it. I'll let you know.
I didn't get it. You know, that wasn't the place to be getting into it, and I knew I could look at my stuff. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to let it run out. You'll just see what I talk about at the end. And
oh, I did. I got to finish behind Reiner.
I was able to maintain my third place finish in this race after my protest. They agreed that it wasn't intentional or egregious, and I ended up getting the penalty reversed and my third place points reinstated. And that would have been a big kick in the you know what if I would have gotten that penalty. If that penalty would have stuck. So, anyways, see you at the next video. I'm gonna let this play on out.
Master Heavy are now on the pre-grid. OVKA 420 shifters should be getting ready.
They gave me a penalty. I got to finish behind Reiner supposedly. I'm going to have to protest it, I guess. I'm sorry. Ready? Go around. Keep going. All right. Moving around that corner, I couldn't tell, but I was trying to get off of I tried to get off the gas, and then he went. I felt like I got bumped, but maybe I didn't. Well, I mean, it's not really big. I know. You gave me a black flag. But like I said, I can look at that. It'll tell me 100% what happened.
Right, excellent.
And I know that I definitely thought shit happened that did not happen until I looked at that. And I was like,